Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 6 o'clock. It's time for Magic Live. Now, what you're about to see now is my handling of the Invisible Palm Aces or Open Travelers. It's got a lot of different names. I have a kicker ending that I have at the end, which kind of makes the routine more logical for me. I've been doing this for a long time. It's a super fun routine to perform, and if you want to learn it, it's going up on the Netrix on the next upload. So if you don't know, the Netrix is my online streaming platform, and there's hundreds of tricks up there. We keep adding new tricks every single week. This time and this upload, we've got some cool card stuff, we've got some coin stuff, yeah, it just continues to grow. If you haven't checked out, by the way, if you're a Netrix member and you haven't checked out Rich Relish's courses, please do so. They're fire. But this is going up on the next upload. I'm going to show it to you, Jack.
Hello.
Now, I know you play cards.
Sometimes.
I'm not really a card player. However, I have studied sleight of hand.
There's a card you own.
Yeah, but I don't play cards. I just cheat with them. I don't play cards. But what I do is I'm obsessed with learning techniques that gamblers use. And the techniques that gamblers use are very, very different to the techniques that a magician would use. Because a magician, I think I've told you this before, but generally as a rule with a magician, the goal is to display skill. You want people to realize that you're amazing at what you're doing, right? But a gambler wants to hide their skill. They don't want people to know. So a lot of the time when a gambler's cheating or using sleight of hand, they're not going to want the person who's watching them to realize that they're particularly skillful with the deck of cards. Does that make sense?
Yep.
But there are two techniques that gamblers use kind of all of the time to cheat with. And I'm going to show you these two techniques because then you'll know what to watch for when you play a game, okay? And if you ever find yourself in a game where these techniques are being used, it means that that person is a really experienced gambler, and I would run a mile. So we're going to use the four kings to be able to show you these techniques. So we've got the king of clubs, we have the king of hearts, we have the king of spades, and then finally, obviously, the king of diamonds. So we've got the four kings. We'll pop the rest of the deck over there for a minute. And the first technique that you have to be aware of is called the invisible palm. Now you understand what I mean by palming something, holding something secretly in your hand.
Yep.
There's a big difference between a normal palm and an invisible palm. Let me explain. So we'll put one king here, we'll leave the others here. And I'm going to show you how to do the invisible palm. Now, in order to learn the invisible palm, you have to learn the normal palm first of all. So the normal palm looks like this. You first of all get the card into the get ready position. This is the magic circle approved get ready position. If you ever see a magician holding a card like this, they're about to palm a card. Now what you do is you come over and you grab the card in your palm like this. Now the important thing when you're doing this, two things. Number one, keep your fingers together, because if you grab it like that, that's called windows. You never want to have windows because they'll see the cards in your hand. The other thing is make sure that it's in your hand and not sticking out. That's important. But even if you get it completely in your hand, you bring your hand over like this and you take it like this, don't leave your thumb sticking out like that, because that's a giveaway that a card's in the hand. Keep your thumb against there. That's where the term sticking out like a sore thumb came from, by the way, just so you know. Yeah, seriously, because when your thumb's sticking out, it's obvious that the card's there. So you keep your thumb like this. Now that is a normal palm. Now I'm going to shift it into an invisible palm. Watch, you do that. It's now in an invisible palm, which means that if someone calls me out and says you've got a card in your hand, I can do this and I can show that the card's not there, because obviously I'm using an invisible palm, right? That makes sense. And then what I want to do to retrieve it, let's say I've got a card on the table and I want to take this invisible palmed card and make it reappear, I just do that, and then I can bring it back on the table, you see, and that's basically the invisible palm. Now let's do that again. I've still got two cards left to go, so we'll do it again with another king, okay? So watch carefully, don't blink for a second, because if you do, you'll miss it. I'll let you choose. Which one do you want to go now? Spades or diamonds? Your choice.
Spades.
Spades, okay. So it's the same thing. This is kind of what it looks like in full speed. You get the card in this position, you take it into a palm, you shift it into an invisible palm, you put it here, it's now in an invisible palm, and then you just transfer it over there, and that's how it works. See, now we've got three. Are you following this? Is this making any sense at all to anybody?
I'm trying.
Now, obviously, you wanted spades to go, so the last one to go is now diamonds. This is the hardest one. It is actually quite, not impossible, but it is actually quite difficult. Let me, because you know what you're watching for this time, don't you? So let me put those all the way over here. I'll actually teach you another technique. This one is called the flat table palm, right? The reason it's called the flat table palm is because you have to palm it off the table. You put the card under your hand, hide it under your hand, and then you shift it into an invisible palm. It's a lot harder, but when you get it right, it looks quite good. And then when it's in the invisible palm, you can move it over here, and then that's when you've got all four, you see? That's how it works. And that's how the invisible palm works. Now, that's different to the invisible switch. I said I'd teach you two techniques. The invisible switch is when you switch one card for another invisibly without people seeing. Kind of looks like this. In fact, if you've practiced this technique a lot, like I have, you can actually do it as a 4-for-4 invisible switch, which looks like that. You see, that's the ultimate sleight to use when you're playing cards with people, because then you can ring in any card you wanted to. Like the 4 kings is a good hand in a game of cards, but an even better hand are the 4 aces, which is why when I did that invisible switch, I took those cards and I switched them for the 4 aces, which means that I have won the game. So that is how you cheat at cards. That's the invisible switch, that's the invisible palm. Next time you're in a game, watch out for that, because that will help you work out what type of person you're playing cards with.
Well,
there you go. Do me a favour, let me know what you think in the comments down below. That is available to learn on the Netrix as of the next upload. I love this routine. I love performing this routine. It's super fun. And that ending just kicks them in the teeth. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. You want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll be back again tomorrow at 6 o'clock with another Magic Live.